India busts US spy network. US mercenary Van Dyke mastermind. Train Myanmar rebels via India route. Drones, arms and links to many wars. As India arrests US fighter and 6 Ukrainians.
In a hush-hush operation last week, the National Investigation Agency has arrested a US national, Matthew Van Dyke, along with 6 Ukrainian citizens in an operation straight out of a film scene. The arrests were carried out across 3 airports: Kolkata, where Van Dyke was apprehended, and Lucknow and Delhi, where 3 Ukrainian nationals were arrested at each location. Hello and welcome. You're watching Explained by NewsX, and I'm Megha Sharma. The Ukrainian nationals were identified as Petro Hurba, Taras Silviak, Ivan Sukmenovsky, Marian Stefanik, and Maxim Honkorak and Viktor Kaminsky. The arrests occurred on Friday. Matthew Van Dyke first gained prominence during the 2011 Libyan civil war. He has fought against the terror group in Iraq and also trained Ukrainians amidst the war against Russia. The 7 have been remanded to 11 days of NIA custody by a special NIA court at Patiala House Court in Delhi on 16th of March under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, according to media reports. It is alleged that the group travelled to India's Mizoram state without restricted area permit. They then illegally crossed into Myanmar as per reports. For entering most of India's northeast states, the Indians require the inner line permit, and foreigners mandatorily need the restricted area permit or the protected area permit. It is alleged by the NIA that the 7 foreigners contacted ethnic armed groups and engaged in training activities. These EAGs, the NIA said in its FIR, were linked to insurgent organizations in the northeast. The NIA has alleged that the group planned to supply weapons, train militants, and utilize drones imported from Europe to support training camps in Myanmar, focusing on drone warfare, operations, assembly, and jamming technology. The big fish in NIA's operation is that one American, Matthew Van Dyke. An American media personality, the man wears multiple hats and is best known for being a mercenary. His business card, if he ever had one, would read something like this: freedom fighter, documentary filmmaker, former POW, trainer of rebels, now guest of the NIA, Matthew Van Dyke, 46 years old, American, Baltimore-born, Georgetown educated, has spent his entire adult life inserting himself into other people's wars. In 2011, he crossed into Libya illegally, joined the rebel forces, got ambushed, was shot, and spent the next 6 months in solitary confinement in 2 of Gaddafi's most notorious prisons. Prisoners broke the lock of his cell on 24th August 2011 and he escaped prison. Freed from prison, Van Dyke stayed at the home of a fellow escapee for a few days before relocating to the Corinthia Hotel Tripoli as a guest of the National Transitional Council. From solitary confinement to hotel guest of the transitional government in 72 hours. Van Dyke has extensive experience in conflict zones. He fought against ISIS in Iraq, assisted uprisings in Syria, and joined Ukrainian forces against the Russian invasion starting in 2022. He has conducted training programs for Ukrainian civilians and military personnel in locations like Lviv and Kiev, and released innovations such as counter-drone technologies for use in Ukraine. Van Dyke studied security studies at Georgetown University. Most of his classmates went on to work for the CIA, FBI, Department of Defense, which is now Department of War, State Department, or other think tanks. He tried to join the club. He made it pretty far through the CIA hiring process, taking an analytical test, a drug test, a psychological exam, and even met with his future boss and co-workers at CIA headquarters in Langley. But he was too nervous on the polygraph and it produced inconclusive results. He failed the lie detector. The pattern that emerged over the next decade is that of a mercenary. Van Dyke was arrested or detained 20 times by Iraqi security forces between 2008 and 2010. 20 times, there is a point at which frequency stops being coincidence and starts being methodology. In one particularly grim episode, he and his colleague were hooded, beaten in the head, handcuffed and accused of being Al-Qaeda terrorists. They were interrogated again in Baghdad and made to face a wall in a Baghdad prison, while an Iraqi with an AK-47 stood behind them. The Iranian Fars news agency reported this as the arrest of Jewish Americans running espionage operations. He was not Jewish. After Libya came Syria, where he filmed a documentary while advising rebel groups on weaponry. He was branded a terrorist by the Assad regime for his trouble. After Syria came Iraq, where in 2014, motivated by the beheading of his journalist friends James Foley and Stephen Sotloff by ISIS, he founded Sons of Liberty International, an organization that provides military training, advising and supplies to forces fighting against authoritarian regimes and terrorists, a non-profit mercenary outfit. Sons of Liberty International describes itself as the first military contracting firm operating on non-profit principles, providing free security consulting and training services to vulnerable populations, free as in subsidized by donors who believe in the cause. The cause being broadly whatever Washington currently considers the wrong side of history. Van Dyke and his organization have been working in Ukraine since March 2022, helping the Ukrainian military in their fight against Russia. In addition to Soli's mission, Van Dyke enlisted in the armed forces of Ukraine to fight as a combatant. He didn't merely advise, he signed up. By late 2025, observers noticed his rhetoric expanding beyond Ukraine towards what he described as confronting Russia's global allies, which brings us inevitably to Myanmar, too close to our Burmese border. The group allegedly entered India illegally through Mizoram's protected border areas, then traveled to Myanmar to train with ethnic armed organizations linked to the Northeast insurgents. These groups operate in both sides of the border. Most are ethnic group linked. Van Dyke and his mercenary team are also accused of carrying a large consignment of drones from Europe, raising concerns about proxy conflict networks. Drones from Europe through India into Myanmar. His experiences are the subject of documentary Film Point and Shoot, which won the 2014 Tribeca Film Festival Best Documentary Award. He has been covered by the New York Times, the Washington Post, The Guardian, the Daily Mail, which called him a writer. He has appeared on the History Channel as well. The NIA arrest of Van Dyke doesn't make him a CIA asset because there is no public evidence of a formal operational relationship, and he himself has consistently denied it, even while acknowledging he nearly joined the agency. The arrest also sends an unambiguous message. India will not allow its sovereign territory to be used as a staging ground for foreign proxy conflicts, regardless of geopolitical motives. The arrest of Van Dyke in India, believed to be part of America's deep state, has stirred a hornet's nest. In 2019, Van Dyke's Soli flagged Christian persecution in India. These have prompted experts to connect the dots and indicate that Van Dyke could be part of a group that Sheikh Hasina warned about in 2024. Months before she was ousted, Hasina claimed a white man met her ahead of the 2024 Bangladesh elections. The former Prime Minister said that the white man assured to help her return to power if she allowed a foreign nation to build an airbase on Bangladesh's territory. In March 2025, Mizoram Chief Minister Laldu Homa told the State Assembly that there was intel of Ukraine war veterans travelling to Myanmar's Chin state via Mizoram to train rebel outfits. Furnishing data, Laldu Homa said that 2,000 foreigners visited Aizawl between June and December 2024, but barely a few were seen on those streets. It only reinforced speculation that porous border between Mizoram and Myanmar had become a key gateway for mercenaries like Van Dyke. The latest developments have added a new layer of intrigue to an already volatile region. The current NIA case that has linked him to activities in Myanmar that threaten Indian security, details are still under investigation. Development has reignited rumors that the US and other foreign powers were providing support to anti-junta forces in Myanmar. For now, the question remains, are these loose incidents part of a much bigger puzzle?
India busts US spy network. US mercenary Vandyke mastermind. Trained Myanmar rebels via India route. Drones, arms and links to many wars. As India arrests US fighter and 6 Ukrainians,